What is up, everybody? Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Riff Revival. I guess that's what I'm calling it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. I'm only saying Riff Revival is because I have a lot of riffs that have potential of being rebuilt. If you're not caught up with the series, I would suggest go watching episode 1. I'll leave a link for you in the description of this video. I'm about to start writing the next section of the song. The first video, I kind of like redid the main riff in the song. I changed some things up from the last video. I have a pretty simple lead. I'm a sucker for simple leads. And also I'm a sucker for dueling harmonies and dueling guitars, where left guitar is doing a riff and right guitar is doing a separate riff, but somehow they work together. That's like my favorite thing to do. I'm about to show you what the new riff sounds like. Okay, so this is basically like the intro riff. There's a lead underneath it, and these are programmed guitars, by the way. I reamped the programmed guitars through my Helix so that I can kind of listen to it with my tone. And then I have another lead underneath, and that one's just going through the Fortin Sweet X, just with some delays and some reverbs added to it. But that's all we have as far as layering goes. It's just 2 rhythms and a lead. And then I also have another underlining lead that I'm planning on adding to this. So here we go. Okay, so this is with the complete master chain on it. And that's pretty much what we have so far. I think it's pretty crazy that this is programmed guitar and this is what they sound like soloed. Okay, let me add the lead in there with it. There is another lead that I was thinking of doing over that, and it sounds something like this. That added with what's going on already sounds really cool. There's something that happens between the first lead and then that like there's some sort of melody mesh there that just sounds beautiful. I'm still debating on how I should do it. If I should program it as like a piano or synth layer, or if I should program it as like guitar. I'll probably try both, but I'll probably lean more towards the synth layer because I don't want too many guitars going on this part, because I still want you to be able to hear what's going on with the rhythm. Let me see if I can play that together with the song. Something like that. I would love for it to be guitar, but I just feel like that's too much going on. So we're going to do it synth layer first. And if it still sounds like it's lacking, needs some oomph, put it as guitar, but maybe blend it just a little underneath everything. After that, we're going to be programming the main riff. Anyways, that riff, it's going to be a beast to program. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Actually, I kind of am, because I enjoy programming Midi, but it's going to be a challenge. 4-string is a little bit more involved than just with the basic samples in Axure, because I can program it actually really fast with the main samples. The fact that I'm doing 4-string and making sure that every string is articulated, that's what's making this take a little bit longer. But I do want to test Axure to the limits and see how good it can sound with every string being forced. Honestly, so far I haven't seen any limits other than the fact that it's not played by a real person. It's programmed, but I mean, we can get past that. What we're going to do is we're going to program that lead, but it's going to be programmed slightly different because it's going to be more of like a synth. So it's just going to be a strung out note. All right, so far we have, no, I think it was Fascination. No, Astral Voices? Eesh. Blue Strings, I think it was Blue Strings. Yeah, Blue Strings is just simple for right now. Oh, I love that. And like I said, if I do feel like it needs guitar instead of synth there, we'll add it. Or we can do both. That would be too many layers, but I mean, whatever. If it sounds good, it sounds good, right? I was actually pretty on time. I was only off by like a 1/28th note, which is kind of crazy considering my computer craps out on me while I'm tracking it. Actually, I kind of like that volume, -16. I think that's a good volume. Okay, we can move on. All right, so now we're going to write the main Instagram riff, the moment you guys have been waiting for, or at least I think that's what you guys have been waiting on, the crazy riff. So there are 2 crazy riffs in this song. There's one I wrote the other day on Instagram, and then there's another one that's in the song already. I think I found a way to incorporate it. It's the one with the little hammer-on pull-off frilly things from the original song. I like that riff. I just had to find a way to kind of like piece it together with these new ideas. I'm not sure if we're going to get to that part on this video, but I am planning on putting that part in this song. Let's dive into it. I guess we're going to go straight into the riff. I think it's a similar-ish sort of vibe, so I think we're going to be able to just go straight into the riff. Yes. It's a bumblebee and it turns into a flower pot.
Yeah, because it's a fidget toy like Riffy got.
It's a fidget toy?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is that? That looks like the Undertaker. All right, sorry about that. My kid and my wife were grocery shopping. She called to ask about a fidget toy, which she refers to as a fidget toy. She wanted some sort of Minecraft flower pot toy or something. So first note is... Second note. Third note. What I'm going to do is program it in regular samples first, and then I will convert it over to 4-string, because the first time I did 4-string, it was kind of hard to decipher like the timing, because when you're doing chords in more than one note, you have to kind of offset things to get them to trigger the right way. To make sure that I'm on time, I'm going to program them first with the bass samples of Axure, and then I'll go in and plug in my 4-string key switches afterwards. Hey guys, real quick, I really enjoy making these types of videos, and if you guys want to see more of these videos, only 70% of you guys are subscribed. So do me a huge favor and like the video, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. It's free. It would mean a lot if you guys subscribed. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to show you the 4-string riff against the main sample riff, because I think that is important if you're going to be trying to do 4 strings, which I think 4 strings sound a little bit better. To me, it sounds a little more full, like the roundness of the notes. It sounds a little more, has more depth, more low into it. Definitely love that. I think everything sounds pretty good. I just need to add in that bend. So let's try that bend now. That first note right here. we're going to change over to pitch. And now we're going to build a bend for that. All right, so to make your own bend vibrato sort of automation in Reaper, I just click the note and then just right click in the area that you want to edit and go to LFO. And then within LFO, you can click right here on the LFO shape and I just do sine, and then you can adjust your parameters. I would come down here to frequency and kind of do maybe a 1/8, and then you can just adjust your parameters here, how you want it to tilt and everything. So what I like to do is hold Alt, and then you'll see that little arrow pop up, and then you can adjust your curve by holding Alt. There we go. If you have that sort of humpback shape after the bend, it kind of helps a little bit with the release of the note to make it sound a little more natural. Yeah. Okay, that's sounding a little better. It's not perfect, but it'll do. All right, now let's copy and paste all of that whole riff basically. There's a lot going on there. I'm just now realizing like what it takes to program 4 strings, and it's a lot, guys. If this is something that kind of scares you a little bit, I don't blame you. If you really want your stuff to sound good, you have to spend the time on the programming of it. You know, the people programming like orchestras and things like that, they go through this. You know, they program every articulation very meticulously. It's just part of what they do. Instead of going, we're gonna go. So these notes are gonna disappear and we're gonna put a pinch here. Okay, so we'll get rid of these notes. And we're going to put a pinch here instead. So we'll move that up to pinch right here. Now let's find our pinch note. All right, that's the note. We had it pretty dialed in. So we're going to make another point here. Keep it pretty much down here till you get about right here. So we got it. Let's listen to it from the top. Okay, that's going to be fun to program drums to. There are some things to adjust on each guitar track because all I did was copied and pasted the guitar from left to right and just kind of moved them over a little bit so that they wouldn't phase out. That bend that we did, we'll try to make the bend slightly different on the second guitar. That way it's not exactly the same. What we're going to do is start writing the drums. What I like to do sometimes with drums is like I like to follow the guitar pretty closely, like almost like a kind of like a continuous fill. It's not technically following any sort of rhythm, it's just mainly following the guitar, and then I morph the beat into a groovy like 4/4 or something. Probably going to do some pretty wacky stuff. So maybe like a snare roll thing. By the way, this is Get Good Drums Modern and Massive. I've been using Modern and Massive for a very long time. I can't stop using it. I'm addicted to it. I like to keep my snares at about 110 and my kicks anywhere from like 100 to 110. But we can do some snare rolling and mess with the velocities. Like I said, start off as sort of like a fill intro into the riff. You're not really following the guitar per se, but you're kind of just building into it and then into a groove. And then that's whenever the groove kicks in. Something like that. I know my writing style is unorthodox and kind of really doesn't make sense. And a lot of this changes too. By the way, I should mention my drummer for my band, The Artificials, volunteered to help me with this series. So whenever we get to the part of near completion with the song, he's going to take the drums and rewrite them like how he would play it. Because I understand that these drums are kind of crazy or maybe physically impossible. So he's going to probably track them at his house and then send me the stems, and I'm going to mix those in with this, and we'll have a legit song recorded. We're probably going to be making some videos on that as well, like the process of him tracking drums, and we're trying to get in depth as possible with the writing process, the tracking, the mixing, all of it, because this is the kind of stuff that I feel like you guys need to know. Not necessarily saying that I'm the best at it, but I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of know what to do when it comes to releasing a song, recording a song. So if that's something you guys are interested in, just stick around, subscribe. So we can go multiple ways with this groove, like a steady 4/4 sort of thing. Okay, so we're gonna put another crash right there. Emphasize. My dog is snoring right now. I don't know where to go with the ending of this, honestly. I'm probably gonna have to make some adjustments. What I'm noticing right now, the palm mutes, they're not dragged out long enough. They're kind of cutting out a little too early. And some of the dead spots with the dead notes are kind of just cutting off. I'll just extend those a little bit to give it less separation in between each note. That's what you want. If you're going for like a pause or something, that's fine. But for the most part, this riff only has like one pause in it. Everything needs to kind of mesh and blend together. Right after the dead note, we can add a release noise. It's like basically the very end attack of the note. You can do that with palm mutes, you can do that with the dead notes. It actually sounds really good. It adds a little extra oomph to the end of the note. Yeah, sounds good. We need to add dead notes to the end of these chugs as well. At the very end of that note. Right there. There's a dead note right there. Okay, so I actually just put it a little bit before the dead note ends. Probably about right there is where I started the release noise, so that it kind of blends in with the dead note. Always got to put them at the very end of a chug if you want that chug to kind of have some life after it. Yeah, there we go. Now it sounds good. Now it sounds really good. I would say that sounds pretty close to a believable guitar take. Yeah, I'm stoked. All right, so now I want to copy paste that left guitar to the right guitar, because we did make a lot of changes and I don't feel like doing those same exact changes on this side. And we'll adjust anything we need to adjust, like those pitch bends that we changed. Okay, they're slightly different from each other. So for the bass, we're using Submission Audio Grove bass, and I love the way that Grove bass sounds. It has this sort of funky poppiness to it. I love it. I've always loved that for some types of metal. It works with this part very well. So I do need to adjust what tone I want for the bass, and it's very hard to decide. Right now, I am on the distortion channel. This is how I have my mix. I've got my girth all the way up. Compression, I think, is at 2.3. Tone, I think, is right in the middle. And then I kind of dial back a little bit on the drive. It's got this real poppiness to it, but I do like how the clean channel sounds. It's still kind of got that funky, poppy, snappy sound. It's a little dialed back, and I like the fact that it blends in with the mix a little bit better, but it loses that sort of snappiness. So it's hard to choose between the clean and the distortion channels. Man, I gotta dial it in for the final mix. We're not at that part yet, but I'll let you hear what it sounds like with the clean bass and then the distortion bass. So here's clean bass. I love that bend. All I did was copy and pasted the MIDI from the guitar over to the bass. I don't think a bass player is actually going to play it like that, but just for funsies, it still had that bend information in there for that pinch harmonic. I actually like the way it sounds with the bass. That was the clean channel, so here's the distortion. That bend always makes me smile. It's awesome. I think I'm going to go with the clean for now. I'll try to dial in some distortion maybe after the fact, or I might try to mix this a little better. But right now, I think clean sits at a good level. And then also, I'll note that I reamped the first section of the guitars already. Now, obviously, I'm going to redo that as well. I'm not really in love with that tone. I'll probably try to dial that in a little bit better when I go to reamp again for the final mix. It works decent for now. Leave a comment below and tell me which one you guys liked. Do you guys like the clean channel or the distortion channel? I like the clean, but hey, let me know what you guys think. I know I didn't go into extreme detail with the programming on the guitar. If you want to see more in-depth guitar programming, let me know in a comment below as well. The only reason why I didn't show you guys is because it's very time consuming, and to kind of get every little quirk in there about how to program MIDI, it's a lot. As long as you have a general understanding, just remember for Axure, you've got your strings down at the bottom here, and then you've got your main articulations, and then some static articulations up top right here. And then at the very top, MIDI notes, I think 86 through 96, 4-string articulations. But these right here, the release noise and guitar noises, those are not part of the 4-string articulations. Just remember, as always, 4-string, you have to declare your string and your 4-string key switch in order for it to work. And when you're doing any sort of chord, you want to make sure that you offset the second note, the third note, fourth note by at least a 64th note. All right, guys, Future Alan here. So I was done recording the video and I came up with another section over the riff that we just wrote. There's a layer that goes over the second half of the riff, and it kind of adds a little bit of character to the part. So this is the little layer that I came up with off camera. I already programmed it off camera. I'm going to show you guys what that sounds like. So this is Axure. I have it in stereo mode. And then I have GTR on the Sweet channel. And these are my settings. Then I have some stomp pedals, just basic delay and reverb. And then I have Ria pitch. So I'm pitching 1 octave up. And it's giving it this like sort of crystally high-end pingy vibe. But I'm adding the original layer within it right here. So this is the first layer and this is the second layer. And this is what it sounds like without the pitch. So I think that added a little bit of character to that part when it comes in. It's the second half of the second riff. Kind of jumps in for a second and then it disappears. This is what the synth layer and that added guitar layer sound like together. And all it is just a piece from that beginning synth layer, and I just copied it over and only had the second half of it come in. Layered together, it sounds like this. I freaking love it, man. All right, so let's recap. What we did was we added guitar to guitar left and right, another section. We added a synth layer. We added some more drums to the second half of the riff. And then we added bass to the second half of the riff. We got a lot done. We're going to listen with the master chain on. Let's just go ahead and grab some of these plugins and showcase them, because I really do enjoy these plugins. All right, let's hear the full mix so far. Cool. I love it so far. All right. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, if you guys are not subscribed, 70% of you guys are not subscribed. So it would mean a lot to me if you guys would subscribe. I really want to keep making these videos. They're really fun. And I feel like I can offer a lot of value in this as far as like teaching you guys how to program with Midi, writing riffs and production stuff. So like, yeah, if you guys want to be along for the ride and learn some stuff and see my process and how I do everything, subscribe. Join me again this Wednesday where I'm going to be streaming on Twitch and YouTube, continuing the writing process. It's going to be kind of long and drawn out because you're going to see me in real time kind of sit here and fiddle with things. So if that bores you, don't worry about it. So if you guys are interested in something like that, catch me on Twitch and YouTube this Wednesday. See you on the next one.